talk some inside football here, Ed. Big upset last week. Lancaster Catholic beating Penn Manor. Tell me about that game a little bit.
Catholic has they've won 2 in a row now. They have Evan Purvis back at quarterback, and they stunned Penn Manor. 11 seconds left, a touchdown pass by Purvis, and Catholic now has won 2 in a row.
Penn Manor had to be. That's a great matchup to start with. They had to be thinking they were going to go in there and get a win against Catholic. That's an upset, I think.
It is an upset. Although Todd Mealy, the Penn Manor coach, like the week before, Mark Evans of Manheim Township, both said that Catholic is probably the best, 3-loss team that they've seen in quite a while.
Any other big games from last week?
Yeah, some important wins. Township beating Warwick. Another Section 1 game that went down to the wire. Township winning 19-17 with just over a minute left. And then some impressive wins. Section 1, Wilson Hempfield. Section 2, Lampeter Strasburg and E-Town. And Section 3, Donegal and Garden Spot.
Yeah, Donegal, big win against Garden Spot, and then follows it up with a good 46-0 against Columbia.
Shutout win at Columbia.
I mean, that says a lot for Donegal too. We have a big game, the biggest game probably, maybe in Pennsylvania this weekend. 2 teams that are ranked: Cocalico versus Manheim Central. I heard they're already laying out chairs and towels there in Cocalico. This could be the biggest game we've had in quite some time in regular season football. Tell me about this matchup.
Well, I can tell you that I'm leaving right after this segment for the game.
Good. You just start tweeting to the press box on Tuesday, Wednesday.
But we were talking before, we kind of compare it to the Donegal-McCaskey boys basketball game a year ago that had a tremendous amount of interest from the fans. There was a sellout crowd at Conestoga Valley High School. And this game, I think, rivals that for interest, even though it's a mid-season game. Again, it's basically the Section 2 championship. And you have 2 teams ranked in the state, ranked highly in districts, and both undefeated. Yeah. Both have completely annihilated the opposition up to this point.
Well, and so there's many layers. What you're telling me here. They seem like Central's got 2 extremes going here. Last week they went against Lebanon. They won 72-0, and that was a drop-back quarterback there, and highly ranked with Piles, and they took care of that. Now they've got to totally shift gears and go against a team that doesn't throw the ball very much so far, and runs it. How hard is that? What do you think? Have you talked to Mike Williams about these 2 extremes he's had to go against? Cocalico is not a throwing team, or are they?
They're not, but I think Dave Gingrich, in the course of his team mercy ruling each of the first 5 opponents, I doubt very much he's tipped his hand on the film as to what he will show Manheim Central come Friday night. I expect Janis to throw the ball more than he has been. He hasn't really had to throw so far, but I did some research into last year's game. Janis went 4 for 5 a year ago, but he threw for 176 yards and a touchdown in Cocalico's win at Central. So he can throw the ball. I mean, he's a javelin thrower. So
he should be able to throw.
Yeah, and I think they're probably going to have to throw this week.
Cocalico, you mentioned the mercy rule, the first 5 opponents. Have they played good enough competition here? Or Central played Warwick tough. Beat Warwick, and Warwick's a pretty good team. Hempfield is shown to be a pretty good team, and they beat them. Is it the same kind of competition?
Central probably has had better competition. The one standout for Cocalico, Governor Mifflin, usually a decent team. But again, you can only play who's on your schedule, and the fact that Cocalico is mercy ruling these teams, they do what good teams do. They beat the teams that they're supposed to beat, and they beat them handily.
Any other matchups stand out this week to you?
Yeah, Catholic and Warwick, I think, should be a good game. But again, it's mostly Central Cocalico this week. That's the big game.
The Township's got Cedar Crest, and we got Donegal going to Elko, and Elko's got some playmakers.
They do. Derek Miller, Cameron Strauss, the quarterback Jeff Martin, all rank among the league leaders. They should provide a good test for Donegal's defense.
Let's go back to the Cocalico Central game. Give me your prediction. Who's winning it?
Well, I'm kind of at a disadvantage here because I have not seen Cocalico yet. I have seen Central 3 times. If I have to make a pick right now, I'm probably leaning toward Manheim Central.
I got to see Cocalico play this year. Granted, it was CV, but Cocalico has a lot of speed. Does this game come down to power versus quickness?
I think it does, and I think that's going to be exemplified in probably a couple players. Jet Janis for Cocalico, Justin Moreno, linebacker for Manheim Central, tremendous hitter, tremendously physical player, had a big hit on Mark Piles of Lebanon last week, and I think those two players kind of personify their teams.
Should be a heck of a matchup. Get there early if you're going to the game.